Welcome to another episode of Big Ego Media. Got a special guest, goes by the name. Please introduce yourselves.
My name is Storm Olowu, and this is my dad, Errol Olowu.
Okay. And the reason we're speaking to you guys today is you guys are cousins and uncle of Dele Alli.
Yes, sir.
So obviously he's done that interview with Gary Neville, which is gone worldwide, and he garnered a lot of sympathy and empathy from the football community, as he should, in regards to some of the things that he has said. But you guys are disputing some of the claims, and we want to kind of get to the bottom of this. And you guys are speaking on the behalf of his father. Please tell us first and foremost how. I mean, I've said it, but in your own words, how you guys related.
So my dad can explain that anyways. Kenny is an uncle to me, cousin to my dad as well. I've known Kenny my whole life. He's been visiting me my whole life as long as I can remember. He's come from America to see me in Milton Keynes as well. So my relationship has always been quite good with him. And that's someone my dad has been around since my dad was a child as well.
Okay, Dad, you know, talk on that too, please.
Yeah, Kenny is a very, very close relative of mine from Nigeria, and we lived in Milton Keynes together for a long time before he moved back to Nigeria after his studies. And Dele was born then, and moved back to Canada, then to America. But we know all these stories because we're close to them. And Dele was never neglected. Dele was taken to Nigeria
from the age of 6, 7.
From the age of 6, 7. Dele was never in England.
Because he said he was selling drugs at the age of 8.
Yeah. So
yeah, but this is the simplest thing for people to
work out. For example, if you saw the photos I posted yesterday, Dele claimed to be selling drugs from 7, 8. Key photo I posted was him in the classroom. On the back of the picture, you can see the date on the whiteboard. It's 2004, proving that Dele was born in 96. That's 8 years old.
Yeah.
So Dele was in the best private school in Nigeria at the time. He's surrounded by many interracial kids, white kids, light-skinned kids in the same environment as him. He had a chauffeur that took him to school every day. He had many house helps in the house at the same time. So it's quite obvious.
Sorry, how do you live in Nigeria since I've been taking it as a kid?
In the same way, you know, and I've been in Nigeria since the age of 3, 4, 5. And it's very impractical for Dele to say that, as it's not really physically possible.
How old are you, Tom?
Me, I'm 19 myself now. And
okay. Let's go back then, right? So he lived in Milton Keynes with his mom and dad.
He was born in Milton Keynes. He was born in Milton Keynes. He was living with his mom. His mom has 2 older sisters, Barbara and Becky. Becky's daughter still called me yesterday and sent you pictures of them and Dele. Yeah. Everybody, all the family are thinking, what is happening? All of them are thinking to us, you people are just keeping quiet, and they didn't know that Dele's lawyers has gagged us from 6 years ago.
Oh, so
because there was no social media.
So you were gagged from ever speaking?
Yes. Dele's mom and Dele's dad went to the Sun, to the Mirror. He came from America. He spent thousands and thousands of pounds. You can ask a man called Chris Nathaniel, NVA Management. 6 years ago, Dele's dad had spent over $200,000 for private detectives. He has all the information, how all Dele's funds have been diverted since 2014. We have everything.
Okay,
so they can go as far as they want to go.
Before we get into that, let's try to just get to the bottom of stuff. So like, he's 8 years old. He's living in Nigeria, living with his dad in the US. So he's kind of traveling.
Yes. He's never in England.
So he was never in England.
No, he was in Nigeria all the time. He was sent to Gary Neville. He was doing drug smoking. He was in a private school in Nigeria. He's there. Come on.
Okay, so when did he move back to the UK?
It was probably around a year or 2 after that photo, between the ages of 9 and 10. Anytime between then, he was probably going back and forth.
And to Houston, his dad was living in Houston. He didn't know the Ickford family then. He didn't know them. They don't know him.
And Harry didn't know Dele through primary school or before that. The relationship was already formed when Dele went to secondary school in Milton Keynes and joined MK Dons Academy.
So you guys are saying, so Dele had 2 older sisters who still lived with them at the time. And so when he's making claims that mum was an alcoholic, was that?
So my question we just discussed earlier, I even spoke to my dad about this earlier, is how come TPS, Child Protection Services, have not apprehended the mum, because she's accountable for 3 other children in the same household, Why is it only Dele that can make these claims and the other children have been raised to have their own children as well in the same Milton Keynes under the same roof and have not had no issues? Barbara and Becky have their own children now. They all live with their nan, who is Dele's mom. No one has mentioned her being abusive. No one has mentioned her being alcoholic. It's only since Dele associated himself with the Hickfords that these claims came to light. These claims only came to light when Dele's mom tried to get back in contact with Dele a few years ago at the Tottenham Stadium. He said he didn't want to be around her because she's alcoholic. This is the first time we heard about this as well. But Barbara defended Dele herself. She got shut down. She got silenced. Everyone said she's lying. And for someone like her, which she doesn't have the platform or even the finances to, go straight at these type of problems, it's not really easy when the whole world is against you and silencing your opinion and your voice. You know.
I mean, one of the yeah.
Dele's mom has to live where she works in Wolverhampton. She's in hiding because they made her feel like she gave up her son. She's never given up her son. There's no documentation wherever in England for anyone or MK Dons to come and prove how they signed Dele Alli at 16.
Okay,
who was his parent at that time? We want to know.
We'll get into that. So one of the things that where people have drawn a lot of sympathy for him with his claims of he was molested when he was living at his mother's house because too many people was coming to the house, kind of thing. Yeah. I mean, what do you guys kind of say to that?
My answer to that is very simple. Dele, I'm not saying he's not been molested, but the right way to go about this is, one, to point out who has done this to you so he can be apprehended. There's no statute of limitation on the years a sexual assault or rape charge can be apprehended or addressed. So even if it's now that he speaks about it, the offender can be apprehended for that. Two, this is the first time we're hearing about this. This is the first time the dad's side of the family is hearing about it. The first time the mom's side of the family is hearing about this. So something we don't so something we don't know. Obviously, you can't deal with it. It's just common sense. He's not spoke to anybody about this. And if this is the first time we're hearing about it, we're just as shocked as everyone else. When I heard it on the interview, I said, when? So my answer to that is, please, Dele, go and point out who's done this to you so they can be
We want to know who's done this. We want to know. The whole family want to know if you've been abused. We want the pedophile to be exposed. Simple.
So a lot of people are asking, okay, he's not been adopted legally. How can then someone just take your child and no one's given a fight or made a point of going to just take my child back and no one's gone to the authorities to from the age of 12 to whenever?
Yeah, my dad's got a good opinion on that and he'll explain to you. He'll explain to himself.
I'll just give you my own opinion about what I think because I lived in Milton Keynes with them. I work in this industry as well for over 20 years. I know the good side, I know the dark side. When Dele started playing football, he was playing at
City Colts grassroots team
in Milton Keynes. And he was spotted by Dan Michichi, a scout at MK Dons. I know everybody involved in this case. They can send whatever they want to say, I don't care, but this is what happened. It was spotted at City Colts and MK Dons started maybe 12, 13, I'm not sure. And he started going to training. This time his dad was living in America. Dele was living with his mom and his two elder sisters in his mom's house in Wolverhampton. Right?
Yes.
Then it goes, everybody knows what it entails to take a young footballer to training after school every day.
It's not easy, especially if you've got other kids and you're working full time.
Right? Everybody in England, they genuinely know that it is not easy taking a young kid football after school and all these things. So you have to be a very dedicated parent. One, I'm not defending Dele's mom or his dad here. His dad, for whatever reasons, is not in the country. His mom, she's at home, dealing with two other older kids in a council estate, struggling. She doesn't have a car, but she takes him as, and the dad even comes from America. The MK Dons coaches know the dad. Even Pete Winkleman has the dad's number. They speak. All this time Dele was in academy, MK Dons. They all know him. The Ickfords and Dele's mom sit down in the garden and drink tea and take the both players to training. And the Ickfords were helping Dele's mom apparently because she doesn't have car. So Dele goes, they pick him up to take him with, which is what I even do with my own son now, your younger brother. Some people help me because I'm not always at home to take him to training. So from there, every Wednesday, they take him to training. One Wednesday, Dele didn't come home. Dele's mom called Dele's dad in Houston and complained furiously that Dele has not come home, that these people have not brought my child back. Dele was getting to like 14 or 15 now. And you know, kids now, normally they play games in each other's house. And Harry was his teammate and the captain at MK Dons and his close friends from school. So he spends time with his friends.
It seems very
Why
normal.
did that ban you from going to people's house?
Yeah, because of the same situation. We've known about this for many years, you know.
You understand? So let me just explain to you. So people should just take their own take on it. But this is the reality. This is not about money. We are comfortable. Dele's dad is very comfortable. You understand? I'm comfortable. My children are comfortable. So it's not just about finance. This is about the child. Dele has been abused. Dele needs help. Is it when Dele go and do something really bad to himself that all of you are going to start talking now?
So
the boy is come out to Gary Neville to cry for help. So
Yeah.
what I would advise is independent people should take him away from them, from his dad, from these people, and go and interview Dele and go and have Dele ask him, all these pictures that you've shown, are these your pictures? So why did you lie that you were somewhere doing drugs when you were in Nigeria in a private school? Let independent people go and speak to Dele.
So just to understand the point here, right? So basically what you guys are saying was that mum was getting help and support from the other family because she couldn't always take Dele to football. And they got a car, so it's easier for them. And over time, Dele started spending more time over there and having sleepovers.
The mom complained, but the dad called the house. I'm telling you, the dad will still come and say all these things. Call the Ickfords. Alan Ickford, I know him. He's a white van man in Milton Keynes. He's worked on my house before. I know who he is. I know them. Yeah, he's a white van man. Alan, what's happening to Dele? Oh, they're all playing in the house. Everybody's okay. So Dele is all right. And Dele's dad said to his mom, oh, they're just kids playing. Leave him. You know, that's it. And Dele's dad comes to their house from America. They know him.
So over time, then where are you guys saying then when they saw Dele was about to sign, that's when the poison...
They told them at MK Dons, I'll tell you, go and check your facts. Harry was the captain of the team at that time, is the right back. Dele was the star of the team. They found out at 15, 16, he's going to be the star, and Harry wasn't making it. So the attention turned on Dele. So then everything was on the ground. They were not telling nobody what they're doing. Dele's dad doesn't know anything about football. He's an IT man. He's in America. His mom doesn't know nothing about football. All they want is, oh, their son is happy. He's playing football, he's okay. It was when Dele was 16 that the dad called me from America. I said, my friend, my family, don't let me lose my son. What is happening with football? That they said Tottenham want to fire my son. And I called my son and he told me himself, and he said, Dad, and like 2 hours later, my son called me back and said, oh, Dad, don't worry. They said they're going to sort it out for me. And he left, you know, said, I'm coming to when his 18th birthday, I'm coming to England from America for his 18th birthday, so you can tell me more about it. When Dele's father landed in Heathrow, the Ickfords has put Dele on a private jet to Turkey for holiday. He's not seen his dad since then. So they just keep doing this since then. That's what's been happening. We have all the records. We have investigative records that have been investigating them for over 8 years. So let them keep saying lies. Everything is going to be exposed to the world. We don't live in England anymore. Because of this, me and my family choose to live out of England. This is what has been happening. It's a conspiracy. How could a club in England sign a player at 16 years old without the consent of any family member there? Without no adoption paper from the people that claim to be his family? Come on.
I totally understand what you're saying, but I guess what people would say, mum and dad should have made more of an effort in terms of when he's at the Hickford's family household, like, what are you doing? Come home now, you're not staying there. Yeah. Why was there more force?
But my question to that is, isn't it a very normal thing for your kids to go and play at their friend's house? It's a very innocent thing until it becomes a problem. It's not, you're not thinking, oh, my son's gonna get taken away by these people because that's your son's alleged best friend. You're not thinking these things.
But at the point of when, like, Dele's starting to live there and they're basically fostering him.
No, but he didn't start to live there. He only started living there after he signed his contract.
So only at 16.
Yes, and before that,
Okay.
he was going to training. He was staying over for dinner.
And come home.
Come home. But it's when
The
he signed
only
his
once he
contract.
signed the contract, as
Yes.
That he
that's
avoided all the family.
Yes, when he signed at 16, that's
that
when he
is when he
avoided everybody.
avoided everybody.
so
This
you
is
guys
not- he
think
wasn't
it would
living-
be
he
a
wasn't living there since
financial
13.
gain for them, for the family, basically.
Yes,
Go and look at when Alan and the mom, Sadi, registered all their companies.
the same.
And look at all what they're doing before their company was registered. What was their job? What was their earnings? And look at what since Dele signed in 2014. My son can tell you the
I
profit.
can tell you the numbers.
We know all the money moved out of
Let's see the
Dele's
numbers.
account.
2014, Delhi signed his pro. 2014-2015 season, he signed his professional contract. That year, they generated 1 million in revenue. The next year, they generated 1.5. The year after that, it was growing to 3 million. And as of now, between then and now, it's over 5-6 million in total assets in their
What's the company? What did they do?
construction. And now they renovate massive homes, they do all these type of things. But this wasn't a thing before Delhi signed this contract. So our question is, okay, where did you get the money to finance?
From being our guiding,
Yeah,
from being our
normal
white
van man work to and handyman work to generating £5 million in 9 years. For me, it's absurd. Where did the money come from? Because Harry didn't make it pro, but Delhi did, and Delhi was making over 100,000 a week at Tottenham.
all the family are on the company.
And all of the family members are directors on that company, apart from Delhi. Sally, Alan, Harry, and Molly. But if Delhi is supposedly their son, why is he on the company?
Even on Dele Alli's company, Dele Alli's promotions. Go and look at the directors on the company. Even on Dele Alli's promotions,
It's
go
them.
and look
It's
at
them.
them.
So with MK Dons, knowing that was not his biological parents, why did they allow him to sign?
There we go.
I will say this publicly. Dele's dad will come on the phone and say it publicly because he's an IT man. He has Pete Winkleman's number and he speaks to Pete Winkleman, the owner of MK Dons. And when this happened, when Dele signed to MK to Tottenham, quote me, Pete Winkleman said to Dele Alli on the phone, which he didn't know Dele had everything recorded, that if you do what, tell them. Well, you are setting there.
He said exactly this. Leave Delhi alone till his career finishes, and then we can deal with these issues.
How many years ago was this? How old were you there?
Like 8-9 years ago from now.
And so at which point then now, because I can understand that, okay, maybe they've sort of taken care of him and so on, it might have been about the money, but why have they now turned him against his family? What does it benefit them to do that now?
Well, it's kind of simple because they've got a lot of money in him. They've made a lot of money on him. Their sole income as a family is Dele Alli. Now turning Dele against his family in the and publicly bringing them down is just another chance for sympathy, another pity party, a chance for people to give Dele Alli another chance, forget all the scandals and issues he's had over the last years, football and outside of football. And look at the you've seen yourself. Look at the traction it's drawn online. Everyone is now forgetting about the previous issues with Dele and has now turned their head straight onto the family. Oh, this is why he's not playing well. This is why he's not doing this, because the family did this, the family did this. And without Dele Alli being able to speak to his family directly, or the family being able to publicly speak like we're doing so on their behalf now, everyone's just gonna have to believe it. And that's what people are doing.
I mean, so what do you guys kind of want to happen now?
We want a few things. We want the truth just to be publicized. We want people to know the actual story.
We want everything that still has a year contract with Dele to understand that Dele is not in the right mental state of mind to play any kind of football. Dele should seek help immediately from independent people without his real family and his supposedly adopted family. Independent people from Everton Football Club or the FA should go and analyze Dele, and then they will come with the truth.
Not
so
us.
What has Dad said about the situation right now?
Everything we've just said.
Everything we just said, that's why he gave me his consent.
Yeah.
You have his consent, I have his consent. He's listening to everything I say. The whole family is watching. The whole Nigeria is watching. Everybody is watching. In France alone, there's over 300 views on Twitter. So it's not just in England. FIFA, everywhere, we're going everywhere with it. This is not about football, it's about welfare.
What would you guys like to say to Dele Alli?
This can be happening to another child in the UK now, being groomed and brainwashed. They don't just groom kids just for sex. They groom kids as well for this, financial gain. Even sex is financial gain because they sell them for sex. So they're grooming kids every day for financial gain. This is no different.
What would you guys like to say to Dele if he manages to watch this?
Dele will not watch it because the first day Dele ever seen those pictures, they blocked my son on Instagram. Yeah. Instagram took my son off Instagram for posting all these pictures because he confronted the truth. He didn't know that he's going to see these pictures in his life. The Ickfords never know that Dele had these pictures. They don't know, because if the Ickfords are Dele's real parents and they've helped him, they should come out with the pictures when he was 8 years old. They should come out with the pictures when he was 10 years old. He didn't just come to them a dejected kid. They tried to portray Dele as a kid that needed help, that they need to clean him up, they need to help him. But that is a lie. It's false. It's all shown. It's false. We've all shown you people the kind of life Dele had, the kind of upbringing Dele has.
Why do you think
Why
do you think Dele has said these things then? Do you think they've got into him?
No, I'll tell you why Dele did this. Young boys, every young boy love football. Dele's only love in his life when he was young was football. Dele is an original Chelsea fan. From a kid, Dele can die for Chelsea and football. We know Dele. He was born in our hands. You understand? His dad made him come back to England from Houston because he said he wanted to play football. That's what he wants to do.
Father, I'm sure you, for your kids as well.
The last time, before Dele was 16, Bobby, Kenny was called by MK Dons to come to Milton Keynes. He traveled from Houston. When he comes to my house first. I said, go and listen to what they're going to say. And the coach, Dan Mechichi, and one of the coaches told him, that instead of Dele just, they should sign, Kenny should sign Dele to them so that they can look after him and stuff like that. And power of attorney, that should give them the power of attorney so that they can look after him. And Kenny told them that, listen, I don't need to give anybody any power of attorney or anything. Anything you need from my son, whether I'm in America, anywhere, if it's about my son, I will fly down. That you called me to come. I flew down from Houston to come. So I'm here. That I won't sign anything, but me, I will tell you one thing. I want my son to play football, but education is important. That is the problem Kenny had with MK Dons. Education is important. This is what they used for Dele and said, your father wants to take you back to Nigeria for education. That you're not going to play football.
So they use that. So
yes, and if you help you now, you can't talk to them because that is what happened to Dele. Let the psychologist go and speak to Dele. That's the truth. Okay. Dele fell into the trap because of love of football. Dele is a victim, big victim. We feel the family it's bad for the kid. Even his dad told me yesterday that he doesn't want his son to go and kill himself. Because where is his son going to turn to now? That all these people on Instagram, nobody will say anything if his son go and hurt himself. Then that is when all the inquiries will start. We are shouting out now because we are telling you people to go and do something about it before it gets really, really bad.
Do you think there can ever be a reconciliation?
Of course. Dele can never go away from his family. I can assure you that, because it will never be normal. How can you look after your son the way the man has looked after his son, and his son will forget about him? That is why it's not normal. At Tottenham, it's not normal. Everton is not normal. Besiktas is not normal. What self-sabotage is cry out for help. Come on, guys. Maybe people in England think different. I don't know, but at least 3 million people in France are not stupid.
Okay. Well, guys, thank you for sharing your story on behalf of Dele's father.
Sorry, Bobby. All I will say to you is Gary Neville brought this out. We didn't say anything because Dele's people have gagged us for 7-8 years through the court because of the Sun newspaper that published the fake news that Dele's mom is an alcoholic. That is the first thing they planted in the news. And Sun newspaper posted it there. 7 years ago, Dele's dad came from Nigeria through Chris Nathaniel and many other lawyers. We tried to fight the gagging order, which they know, but we couldn't. But now it's internet. There's Twitter. They can't stop it now. Dele went to say that it's been doing drugs from 6 to 8 years old. He's in a private school in Nigeria. So now Gary Neville has to ask Dele Alli and all the supposed family all these questions you're asking us. If we are lying, tell Gary Neville to bring Dele Alli and his foster family back to the media and ask them these questions. That's all you need to do. You don't need to be asking Dele and this biological family any questions. We've said this is what the situation is. Then I tell you to tell Gary Neville or tell Rio. Rio knows me. I took Rio Ferdinand to Nigeria in 2009 with Obafemi Martins. Tell him, the manager of Obafemi Martins, tell Rio Ferdinand, I took Rio Ferdinand to Nigeria in 2009 after Man United won the Champions League. Tell Rio that. That is me. He knows me. Okay. And for me, it's not about money. Rio knows I have a lot of money. It's justice. It's justice. You can't do this with human beings. Slave trade has been abolished, but it's not. It's on the ground. And now they're using it to take people with talents. They don't need us to be building trains anymore, to be digging on the ground. They need us for our talents now. And parents need to be aware. They need to be aware. My son was banned from sleeping out in people's house from when? Because of what? Because of Dele Alli. All our family know. Most Nigerians know what's going on. Most Nigerians will never allow their child to go to anybody's house and sleep over. Because Dele Alli has taught us a lesson. You don't trust people with your child. Even your clothes. Dele Alli's mom and this woman was drinking tea in their garden while their kids were playing football. These are the same people that went to plant that the woman is an alcoholic. No council record of alcoholism, no anything. She raised 2 other kids before Dele. If you look now, our grandchildren are in our house. Nobody in the house has ever said what Dele said. Dele has 2 elder sisters, Rebecca and Becky. Becky and Barbara. One of them, which one are you speaking to? The daughter Dele? Becky. All of all of them are sending pictures. The whole family is disrupted because of all this. And people are talking about money. What money does Dele have? Dele doesn't have a percentage of his father's wealth. He doesn't. Dele doesn't have a percent. He will tell you that of his father's wealth. People just want to talk money, because that's all they know there. Rat race. Yeah.
Thank you very much. And we'll just see how the story develops. And yeah, I thank you for your time.
I can assure you today, and everybody watching this program, this is the fact. And the story is going to develop. And Dele Alli is going to confess and break down and tell you the truth. Because he cannot hide from the truth. So let Gary Neville ask him about what he said with his mouth when he was 8 years old, and blah, blah, blah. Call the Ickfords and Dele Alli back for the interview. That is what we want. That is what everybody wants. Call the Ickfords and Dele Alli back for the interview. And I want Rio Ferdinand to ask him questions as well. Rio, we ask, let Rio ask him. Let Rio Ferdinand ask Dele Alli one-on-one with the psychologist. The truth. That is what, what's the other one that is? Piers Morgan. Let them bring the Ickfords and Dele Alli to the media. And ask this question. Stop asking us. Piers Morgan, Rio Ferdinand, bring Dele Alli and the Ickford to the media. They're the one that went to Gary Neville, Sky Bet, collected money to even do an interview. So who is looking for money? The interview was not free interview. It's Sky Bet, sponsored by Sky Bet. So someone has been paid for Dele doing that interview. Who got paid? Not us. So it's still a mole. And the boy just came out of rehab. 3 weeks ago, they brought him in front of the national team. Wicked people.
Okay, guys. Thank you very much. And thank you for your time. And we'll catch up soon, man.
Nice one.
Thanks, Bobby.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bobby.
Thank you, guys.